Hello, everybody, and welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for passing by. Thank you so much for subscribing. And thank you very much for watching my videos. You are greatly appreciated. Today, I want to talk about the curious case of Devin the Doctor in this war. Guys, I do apologize for the noise. I am literally on the outside. Yes, there's usually noise in my background, but it's going to be more now because I'm literally on the outside. So I do apologize, okay? Now, we have come into the awareness of Devin the Doctor since Magnum King and Queens of Dancehall. He came onto the stage. He was very lyrical. He was very comical. He also because he had a comedic side to him, I'm sorry. And so the mass of the people took on to him. Even though I liked Lava Vein, I like the Sing J melody that Lava Vein had, and he was also lyrical. But the crowd liked Devin the Doctor. They liked his presence. They liked the comedic side to him. And so people took on to him, and he became the victor in the Magnum King and Queens of Dancehall. Of lately, there has been a war brewing in dancehall. People want the heads of other people. People want the jugular. People want war. People want blood. And this is stemming from the entire Sumfest wherein Massacre was on stage. Massacre brought on Jashi. Jashi made the subliminal jab at Vibes Cartel. And, Massacre, Jashi is obviously not going to answer. Persons have been coming at Massacre saying you should say what you mean, stop using Jashi as a bait. You should come for Vibes Cartel, you're ungrateful, you're this, you're that, and all sorts of things. The Gaza persons have decided to attack Massacre. Many persons are calling Massacre clone also, who are not Gaza necessarily, because he doesn't want to come direct and say what he means. And so Devin the Doctor has decided that he's going to step out and he's going to go after Massacre because, he's about it. Now, we know that Devin the Doctor is very lyrical. He's a very lyrical artist. He has yet to have a hit song, and we get that for whatever reason, more reasons than one that we won't get into. But that does not subtract from the fact that he's very lyrical and he usually knows how to improvise, meaning that he can put his comedy into his music and put it out, even though he has yet to make a hit song. Now, he believed that he's strong enough to come out for Massacre since nobody is, and since Massacre himself is rather what they call ducking, or throwing stones and hiding his hands. So he decided that he's going to shoot direct and come straight for Massacre. I think it's Massacre's protege, Shane Skull, decided to respond to Devin. And, Devin has put out more and more this song aiming at Massacre. Now, the thing with Devin the Doctor is, yes, he's very lyrical and he's comedic and he knows how to improvise. But the little glitch that I'm having with Devin is that he tends to put out 150% in just one song. So when he comes out, he starts shooting very high, he starts soaring. But given after a moment, he loses altitude. And so because he loses altitude, the momentum drops. And because the momentum drops, he kind of loses his attention. The attention that he would normally get from the crowd, the mass of the crowd has dwindled. Now, this is a guy, like I said, that's lyrical, that's also comedic. He knows how to improvise. So with the first diss track, he did very well. With the second one, he had to change it. As we have seen, he decided to go after himself, aiming at what he thought Massacre would say. That's like an 8 Mile prop of what Eminem did in 8 Mile, wherein he decided to diss himself to his opponent. So he took all the ammunition that the opponent would have had on him and decided to use it as a diss track aiming at his opponent. So what happened to him is that he choked. That's what they call in battle. When you are out of words, you're out of lyrics, there's nothing more that you have to say, you basically choke. So that became of the opponent and he lost the battle to Eminem. So this is what Devin the Doctor did in his diss track to Massacre. So in case he was coming with the belt, in case he was coming with the dress, in case he was coming with all the things that he would have used to shame him, then he would have lost because Devin would have already used it. Now, what happened with the momentum is that he decided to change it up in the third one and he improvised. He brought in a child's voice and, he started to do something like what you call schooling him. So he decided to school Massacre in the third battle. What happened with that schooling? It's more like a prop from rapper Joyner Lucas when he was battling Tory Lanez. That was what, and everybody who knows Joyner Lucas, that's like the second Eminem. For those who don't know, Eminem himself called him that. Okay, so this is how talented Joyner Lucas is. For those who don't know who Joyner Lucas is, what he did was he decided to school. He decided to take a different angle when going after Tory Lanez, and he decided to school him. So this is a prop that Devin D Dakta had used in the third one. It doesn't necessarily resonate well with the public because it's a little bit too worded in that he flows a little bit too fast. So it doesn't give the audience a time for it to resonate. And this is Jamaican space where they're used to being having a little bit more amped to it. You understand? Mean more force, more ruggedness to it. And so going cool and mild in a battle, it doesn't necessarily sit well unless you have the ability to capture and keep the audience. Kind of like what Alkaline did in Death Announcement. So when he starts out, like I said, he starts out giving 150%, a whole lot of lyrics, a whole lot of content that he has in the first battle. So he starts soaring at a very high altitude. But when it comes to the second and the third, yes, he improvised and yes, he's good at it. And I won't take that from him. But he kind of loses momentum in doing so. And that's the reason I said that he needs to leave a little back. Yes, it's good when you can improvise, it's good when you are multi-talented. You understand? However, it doesn't always work out for your advantage. And remember, Devin has a history behind him. He went and he put on a dress. I don't know, he was doing a prop for a music video or something like that, or commercial. And he put on a dress, he had on a wig, and then he had a caption of saying something about coming out. That did not sit well with the mass of people in Jamaica because he has something like a cute face and a dimple and all these type of things. And when you have that pleasant, approachable face, that pleasant, approachable, youth, boyish type of face, and then you're wearing a dress and you have on a wig on your head, sitting on a table with a mug, it's not going to sit very comfortable with the harsh atmosphere that Jamaicans have when it comes to men and their sexuality. So if you look even 60% to 40% left to right, rather than 90% right and 10% left, people are going to write you off completely. And it wasn't necessarily Devin the Doctor first rodeo. He put in a blue hair, colored his hair blue and put it in a ponytail, 2 ponytail before, and it looked rather feminine at the time. Then he went and I think he shaved it and bleached it. I think he bleached his hair at one point, looking like a tennis ball kind of look. And it did not sit well with the crowd because people tend to think that he has a feminine face. His face is a little bit soft. So when you're changing up this color image, you're somewhat attracting the wrong type of people to you, or the same gender to you, if I want to be specific. And so it didn't necessarily sit well with the mass of the people. So he's coming from the far end in order to prove that he's ready for a battle. You understand, Devin the Doctor, you're coming from the far end of what they were calling coming from downtown. You're coming from very far to prove now that you are worthy of a battle with a Massacre. So even though many people do not like Massacre right now, for whatever reason, given the Some Festival controversy, they don't like him. At the end of the day, they're not really going to match your wits with Massacre. And it's not because you don't have a hit song, but it's given the history of things that you usually do while being a dancehall artist. It just did not sit well with the crowd. So for you to prove yourself and you're battling this guy, you're going to have to put a little bit more bass in your voice. You're going to have to change up your image and put on something tough and rugged to you. I'm sorry, it comes with the territory. You're going to have to go into a little bit of a darker mode in order for what you're saying to not only be heard, but also resonate with the public. I'm sorry, guys, but it's somewhat of a truth, and I hope that I do not come off discombobulated or sound very confusing to you guys. You understand? Yes, you're lyrical. Basically, you are lyrical. You're comedic. We get that to you. In your first song, you started off very well. You shoot off. You unleash a whole lot of lyrics in it, way too much, and then you go into the second part. You change it up a little, improvise, yes, and stuff like that. Then you go on to the third one and did something completely different. However, your tone is a little bit too mild. Coming from where you are coming from, you have a little bit of a mild tone to you that remember that there's a history behind you, and people do not really like it. So you can take it however you want. I do not mean to be disrespectful, but I like Devin the Doctor. I mean, I like a talented individual. I like people who are talented and people who are willing to showcase their talent. So don't get me wrong. But you did a lot of questionable things that people are giving you the side eyes to this day about. So in order for you to come and say that, okay, even though Massacre may not be about that life, even though he's pushing a tough imagery of himself when it comes to his lyrical content, and maybe he's well behaved in real life, and or even so not really a battle artist, at the end of the day people are not going to think that you are a worthy opponent. I'm sorry. So for you to prove them wrong, you're just gonna have to put a little bit more bass in your voice, come out a little bit more masculine, come out a little bit more rugged. The imagery that you have of that, cute pretty boy type of feature, it has to come with some sort of testosterone with it. I'm sorry. And that's just the reason a lot of people don't necessarily take on to. Females will like it. A lot of girls will like it because they like a cute guy. They like a this. They like a guy who looks nice, dressed well, smells good, have a nice face and stuff like that. However, we're talking about going to battle. We're talking about going to a lyrical battle with another artist that has proven himself time and time again that he's very lyrical, and that's Massacre. Whether he has lost respect or credibility or whatever the case may be, he has yet to prove himself. This is his last option, Massacre. You had your option with Idonia, he didn't want to go. You take subs at Alkaline when he was going after the 6. Alkaline took another sub and said, if you push up your head, he's going to take you out. You threw sub at, you did not say anything, you did not drop a diss track. You did with Skeng, take a sub, Skeng came directly at you, you did not respond. Now is your time. So now is your time to prove yourself. So it's up to you if you want to go out there and prove yourself that you actually are worthy opponent and is lyrical enough to go after him. You understand? So Devin, this is my advice to you, and I hope it's not a disrespect to you or anything like that. But you're just gonna have to come out and just prove yourself that you are a worthy opponent of him. And that's all I have to say about it. Thank you so much for your time. Enjoy your day. God bless you. Bye-bye.